First of all, let me thank you all for taking the time to attend this session, which we think is a very, very important session and a very important initiative by the association. My special role here tonight, well, I have a number of roles. First of all, I need to explain the ground rules of these various meetings that we intend to put on, this being the very first of them. I would also wish to offer a very, very special word of welcome to our very, very special presenters this afternoon and to our jury, and I will explain the various roles that they'll be playing. I say these are the main presenters because there will be scope for contributions from the audience. So in fact, everyone can be presenters. There will also be room for questions. And these are what we're hoping to get from this exercise is that the experts among us will help us to clarify the issue at hand, the issue tonight being our pothole problem, and trying to identify the best way forward for Barbados. There is a particular point that I want to be at pains to make at this stage. This is not a political forum. Not that we have anything against political forums, just that this is not one. There are multiple other avenues for political discourse, and we strongly suspect that this will increase in the coming weeks and months. But our objectives in these sessions are, one, to understand a number of fundamental issues that impact on the operational effectiveness of our national infrastructure, and more importantly, two, to identify the best options that are available to this country for future success. Now, just by way of background, it seems to us at BAPE that when we could have reached the stage where we have ministers of government publicly and authoritatively explaining to the public that major national infrastructural projects such as the South Coast Sewage Project, for example, the Kensington Oval Cricket Stadium, are of questionable design and construction, and this after hundreds of millions of dollars of scarce national resources have been expended on these projects. It says to BAPE that the time has surely come to review the methodologies that are being employed in the conception, execution, and the management of these large national infrastructural projects. BAPE is extremely concerned that rather than such infrastructural decisions being based on sound, long-term engineering analyses, what we are seeing instead are social, political, economic, legal, and indeed other short-term considerations becoming the driving criteria being used instead of strong engineering analysis. And this with devastating results for the country, Barbados. We have therefore taken the decision, policy decision, to seek to bring a measure of balance to the situation by BAPE choosing to champion the ethical engineering considerations that should drive national decision-making when it comes to these large infrastructural projects in particular. For us, it was particularly enlightening recently to hear our engineer, Hutchinson, at short notice, on a call-in program, bring such light and clarity to the challenges being faced by the South Coast Sewage Project. His contribution clearly emphasized the importance of engineering inputs into these major national issues. While they are designed to facilitate the general public, most, practically all of these major projects are extremely complex engineering undertakings. It is therefore vital that informed, ethical, professional engineering inputs take on a much more prominent role in making decisions about such future undertakings. I don't know if you know this, but BAPE came into existence in Barbados principally to bring a focus on the issue of protecting the public interest through the promotion of ethical, professional engineering. We on the committee have every intention of fulfilling that important mandate. Now, while we know that the concept of town hall meetings have acquired the reputation of being talk shops, where everyone come and say what they think is important, everyone else come and say what they think is not important, and they all go back home without any serious advance having been made. We believe that we have been able to refine the session into somewhat more of a public engineering court, where issues will be explained, they will be considered, they will be analyzed, and then considered engineering positions will be adopted by a specially assigned jury of persons, of technical experts, who actually understand the complexities of the issues being discussed, and who understand the engineering implications of the decisions that you take. It is this considered opinion from our jury that will then be adopted by the Barbados Association of Professional Engineers on the issue at hand, and which will then be promoted as the preferred way forward for Barbados by BAPE. Now, the format for the meetings will be fairly straightforward. Typically, we will have a 2 to 4 man or woman panel of expert presenters who we will specially invite to bring us as wide a view of the various sides of the issue as is possible. They will be expected to explain things like the industry best practice, the technical considerations that drive the pros and cons of the decisions that are under consideration, and to generally help the jury and the audience and the public at large to understand the various aspects of the issue under consideration, because it is only through proper understanding that we can start to move on to proper solutions and proper ways forward. The public will always be invited and welcome to participate, but we especially want to invite engineers and other technical specialists to attend the sessions, to participate fully in the general discussions and in the question session, and to assist us all in bringing as broad a level of understanding of the issue as is possible for us with the resources available to us. An important aspect of the format will be the moderator. We are lucky tonight to have Mr. Corey Lane, who has agreed with his vast experience at this, and interestingly, his vast experience in a number of other really interesting areas that I hope sometime we get to talk about, has agreed to assist us in moderating our first meeting. The role of the moderator is to manage the flow, the timekeeping, the exchanges, and the general atmosphere of the meeting. And I suspect that I need to emphasize again, he will need to manage the fact that this is not a political exercise. It's a technical engineering exercise. We will have a jury, and tonight you see our jury sitting at their own table. The role of the jury, who has been specially selected by BAPE, will be to consider all the information provided, to seek clarification for themselves as needed, to do their own research if necessary, and then, after careful professional consideration, to provide BAPE with a considered opinion, which we want documented in less than 2 pages. That's a nice way of saying we do not want a 60-page report that says that there was a technical issue and therefore the whole thing didn't work out. A simple, to the point, down-to-earth decision is what we want from the jury. BAPE will then champion the position taken by the jury as the preferred national option. We will seek to have this position balance the various other positions that we will inevitably have, the legal positions, the economic positions, the other technical and unmentionable considerations that tend to influence national decision making. We will be video recording the sessions, and we want to thank Mr. Revelino Simmons for assistance in this regard, and it is going to be available on our website. The reason for this is that these are meant to be ongoing, long-term decision-making procedures that we are taking, and we really want to have a record of what we are doing and why we did it. BAPE members and the general business associates are invited to support the venture by their sponsorship of the town hall meetings. This support will be used to offset the cost of these meetings and then to promote the adopted BAPE position via newsletters, our website, by the local press, and by all other means, so that we get the message out of what we determine is the best engineered positions for Barbados. In this regard, I would like to say a special thanks to our first three sponsors, namely Edgil Associates Limited, Awak Select Company Limited, and C.O. Williams Construction Company Limited, who actually sponsoring this first meeting, town hall session. A special appreciation to Corey Lane, as I said, for agreeing to moderate, and to Mr. Engineer George Johnson, who is our committee member, but who is actually, despite the fact that I get to do the talking, the driving force behind this operation. So thank you all very much, and it is at this stage that I will now hand over to moderator Corey.